Hi Flosstube friends, I am Audrey Marine. Today is Thursday, March 6th, 2025. This is episode 27 and I'm so glad you're here. I have a lot to show. I had to completely clear off my desk, take all of my little stitchy notions, the things I've been working on, and to take it off my desk just so that I had room to fan everything out that I have to show you today. So it has only been about 3 weeks since my previous episode, but I didn't want to wait any longer because I thought, well, eventually one desk would not hold everything. And actually, as it is, I have my desk covered here, but I have several framed finishes to show you which don't even fit on the desk. So once I get some room here, once we get through some of this stuff, then I can pause, grab the frame pieces that I have to show you, which are very exciting. I'm very excited about that. But we'll get started on some other things first. Well, I have a few whips. I have a couple new starts. So let's just go, we're gonna go from this side. I wanna thank everybody for checking out my last video. It seemed like I had some good responses to that. Lots of comments, lots of likes, and lots of views. So that was very cool. And I got a lot of mentions from other channels in the last few weeks, and I'm very appreciative of that. I've seen a lot of traffic on my channel because of all that. Okay, last time I showed you I had started Isabella Uffindell. Also, I got a new phone in the last couple weeks. My previous phone that I had been using, I had gotten in 2020, so I bet the picture quality is gonna be better on this. So that's exciting. Exciting for me. Okay, Isabella Uffindell. This is one I said I had started because my friend Jem, Stitchin' Jem, wanted to start Antong Uffindell, but I didn't want Isabella to get left in the dust. So I started Isabella the day before I started Anne. And I had just a small start on Isabella when I talked to you guys last, but I do have more progress. Here she is. And this is a giant piece of fabric, so I'm not gonna unroll it all. When I showed you guys last, I just had that bit of border there, but since then I have added these other motifs and begun on the tree here. I still have some leaves to do, and then down at the base of the tree there is a dog and a little flower basket, and then I have a lot of grass to do. Now, I say I have a lot of grass to do because I'm doing this in sections. Yeah, look at this. Doing this in sections because for Antong Uffindell, you may have heard here or on Jem's channel or on somebody else's that Antong, we are working as a stitch along, excuse me, and I have broken Antong up into 12 parts. You can see here. So, excuse me, stitching 1/12 of the border every month and then a part of the inner section, and I decided to do the same thing for Isabella. So for Isabella, this represents 1/12 of the border approximately. Her border doesn't break up as nicely into 12 sections as Antong's does. And then this is the first section I am working on. So you see I have a lot of grass down there. That's about 1,000 stitches of grass, plus the few leaves I have left and the dog in the flower basket there. Yeah. But I feel good about the progress I made on Isabella. The border section that I did just took 2 days, and then everything else you saw took another 2 days, so I figured that was pretty good. So my estimation that it would take me about a week to do 1/12 of Isabella, I think is probably right. Now for Antong, I started the border and I completed 1 month's border section, yay, but I didn't get to anything else. And I am stitching both Isabella and Antong on 45 count jersey cream linen from Legacy Linens. I just purchased a yard from hoopandframe.com, and I split that yard up into thirds. So 1/3 for Isabella, 1/3 for Antong, and then 1/3 for probably 2 or more projects because it's such a large piece of linen. And I am using the Overa Soie 100.3s for both of these projects. I really love the colors on Antong. I was stitching this, and the last thing I did was add these little sort of dots on the vines here, and it's amazing what a wonderful difference that made. It just really made it look so much more detailed and even delicate. I loved adding that. So I got that section done. So my plan, my nose is so itchy. My plan for the next week or so is to finish the first segment of Isabella, and then to finish the segment here on Antong. For Antong, I don't think it's going to be as stitch heavy as Isabella, especially since this little flower here is over 1, and I'm not going to be stitching that right now. I've ordered some soie surfing from Hobby House Needleworks to do that little flower. You can see it here. So I've ordered some soie surfing, and I added a couple market releases to that order because I wasn't in any rush to get the soie surfing. So I figured, you know, it'll just come when it comes, and then I'll go back and do that that over 1 section. All right, sorry about that interruption there. My mother called to tell me that she could finally open her door after all the snow that they got in the UP. I think they got like 36 inches or something, and she shoveled multiple times yesterday. And then when she went to bed, like before she went to bed, she tried to open her door and couldn't quite do it, but she managed to get herself shoveled out this morning, so that's good. All right, real quick, back to Isabella Uffindell. This is actually how I'm storing my spools for Isabella, and this is a god-awful way to store them, but there are over 30 colors, but it means that you gotta dig through when you need a certain color. So what I'll do is, when I'm working on Isabella, is I'll look at the section I'm about to stitch, figure out what colors I'm going to use, and then I'll dig through and grab those so I don't have to stop for each one. This little drawstring bag was included in the All Things Bright and Beautiful box, and we got several charts, over a dozen charts, plus some goodies, and this was one of them. And I really love this because it has Ann Oxton on it, and I already stitched her. Ann Oxton is available now, but you need to send an email to Nicola Parkman because she doesn't have it available on the website yet. You can send her an email and request a PayPal invoice. She'll set you up and ship it out to you. Or you can just wait, because I'm sure it'll be on the website within, I don't know, a month or two. She's on her way to Nashville Needlework Market right now. She doesn't release charts for market, but she goes and purchases things. So anyway, but that's how I have my silks stored for Isabella. Antong has, I think, 26 colors, so she fits in one of the large Gutermann boxes. And if you can see, Gutermann spool cases, a lot of people have been showing these on their Flosstube lately. It sort of snowballed. So these are great. They come in a few different sizes. This one holds 12. There's also a size that holds 18 and a size that holds 27, which is a weird number. Yes. Okay, so that's Isabella. All right. I have a perhaps long forgotten whip that I pulled out, and it's now over a year old. I started it November of 2023, and I thought, I don't want it to hit the 2-year mark. I don't want to still have it hanging around in November of this year. So I pulled out a Shepherd's Song by Plum Street Samplers. My mom gifted me the chart and all the called for flosses, and I used a big, beautiful piece of French pear from number 12 Stitch Co. You guys last saw this in December. So I had worked on it earlier last year and got some progress in it. And then I took it on a long weekend trip back in November, I think it was, and put in 3,000+ stitches in one weekend. And then it just sat again for a few more months. And so I pulled it out a couple days ago, Tuesday night, I think it was, I pulled it out. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna put in one thread. And then I put in another, and another, and then I put in 8 more after that. And so in just that evening and then the following morning, I got a lot more of the house done. So that's all I have done at the top, so I don't really need to show you that. So this is all the same. The grass had already been finished when I showed this in December, but I added more to the house. What I added over the last couple days is most of this black here. There was just a little bit here that had been done, maybe 50 stitches or something, but the rest of the black I've added, and then the window frames. I started to frame this window, I completely framed this window. So I was thinking, I really don't have that much more to do. This is a lot of stitching, right? But it's basically all black. It's all black coffee. Just get it done, Audrey. The roof needs a little more thinking, but it's just a bunch of different grays up here. So if you put one gray in the wrong spot, it really doesn't matter. So after that, I'll need to do, I'm not doing this flower. I don't like it. I moved my dog down here, but I need to do this big sheep, and I'm not doing the shepherdess, but I need to stitch this sheep, put in some trees, and figure out what exactly I'm gonna write as far as a verse or a line or whatever it may be, and then finish the border. And the border on this one goes pretty quickly. I think Christy Crosshatch Quilts is stitching this, and so is Jordan, the Tattooed Stitcher. I know Jordan has a color conversion. If I remember correctly, she's stitching this with the Vicky Claytons, but she is stitching blues instead of pinks in the border. Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think I'm friends with Jordan. She and I have been exchanging messages a lot lately. Recently about crackers and needlework market. What are you gonna buy? What are you gonna buy? I don't know what she picked out, but she said she got a lot. So I told her I can't wait to see what she got. Okay, so progress. Yay. Oh, and then called for colors. It's a lot of classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Works. That's it. Okay. Now, things you have seen much more recently. Eliza Townsen. This is Across Stitch Antiques. This is usually called Oh Sweet Humility. This is a photo of the antique. The antique was stitched on an uneven weave. And so when Kathleen Littleton charted it for even weave, things didn't quite sit perfectly. So she kind of had to make some choices when she was charting. And even as I have been reading the chart, I've made my own choices, adjustments, changes, what have you. Let me just show you overall. So what have I gotten done since I showed this last? I brought this border all the way down and added a bit in it. And then I worked down into the grass and I stitched all the animals. I finished the peacock. Perhaps I had him started when I showed this last, but finished the peacock and stitched these other animals. So really I just need to fill in the grass, do the leaves around this tree, and then stitch this house and this same tree over here on this side. Now, in the chart, this side is not regular. It is almost regular, but there are 2 extra stitches in it that makes it irregular. Well, when I noticed this as I was going down, I made the decision to remove those 2 extra stitches, which meant that all of this field got moved up by 2 stitches. I didn't just extend this bit here. I decided to move everything up because on this side, the border is regular. The border is regular. And so what this meant is that maybe this got shortened. Let me look real quick. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna show you something here, if I can. That part of the chart fell out, so I'll just show it to you here. Okay. This is one side. It's 15 high, this segment right here. This is the other side. This is 17 high. So by making the irregular side regular, I matched it with the side that was only 15 high in that section. I just had to move the whole field up. Does that make sense? Are you guys understanding this? Also, I highlighted my peacock because I got real tired of trying to find these animals in a field. I mean, you can find them because you can find their eyeballs easily, but the rest of them it's hard. So I figured this part had already fallen out. It's okay if I highlight it. So keep in mind, if you decide to stitch that one, you can stitch it exactly as Kathleen has charted it and you will have no problems. Or if you decide to adjust some things, it just means that you adjust something here, you're gonna have to adjust something over there. But that's what I did on the border. And then also for this flower here, oh my gosh, you guys, for this flower here, Kathleen had charted it kind of sucked in and shrunken into this little divot here, but I wanted it to be just as it is on the other side. But what that means is that some other stuff in here is going to have to get moved a bit, but I realized I checked and checked and checked. There is enough room here in this little section for this house and this little tree that will be over here because it's kind of symmetrical, even with this here. And then on the antique, I don't know if you guys even care about all this minutia, but on the antique, the peacock easily sits on the field of grass, but as it is charted, the peacock kind of overlaps onto the border. I actually kind of liked that detail because it's kind of like it means that all these characters down here aren't in a box. They're sort of breaking free from that box. I don't know. Does that make sense? I liked the detail of putting his little tail feathers over the border. Anyway, I think that's about the hardest thinking I'll have to do for this chart. God, it's wrinkly. Except I'll have to be careful when I stitch the verse because this verse here runs into the flower, and instructions in the chart say that if you want to stitch the verse as charted, you will have to eliminate this flower right here. Well, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to stitch this basket with the flowers as charted so that it will mirror this one over here that I've already stitched. And I think I will just adjust these couple of lines. Maybe there's a way for me to shorten the gaps between the words. I don't know, I'll figure it out, that's my problem. not yours. And I ordered 2099, which is a Swasserfine, to stitch the verse. So that's in my hobby house order that will be coming who knows when, because it's got, like I say, it's got market stuff in it. Okay, that was probably more about Eliza Townsen than you needed to know. But really, you could just stitch it as charted and not think this hard about it. But I thought Kathleen had already deviated from the original kind of by necessity, because it had been stitched on uneven weave and she was charting for even weave. And after talking with her, I kind of got the feeling that, not like I need a designer's permission to go rogue, but I kind of got the feeling like it was up to you how you wanted to execute it. So I feel good about what I'm doing. I like the choices that I've made. I'm happy with them. And I will be very happy to have that finished. I think I said last time I'd like to finish it by the summer, and that feels right. I talked to my framer, Eliza Townsen, on Tuesday. I actually got to go meet her and pick some things up, which you will see in a bit. And I talked to her about, where was I going with this? I don't even know. Oh, that's what it was. She's going on vacation basically, or she's going off to her summer house with her husband for the summer. And so I've left her with a batch of things that I hope to get back before she leaves for the summer, but I won't be sending her anything else until the fall. So Eliza can get done tomorrow. She can get done in September. It doesn't really matter. She's not going to be framed any sooner. And I could send things to other framers, but you know what? I'm really happy with Lisa. I'm really happy, and I think her prices are good, and I like the framing that I've gotten. Okay, Eliza Duff Kirton. This is Hands Across the Sea samplers. I purchased this at Hobby House back in October. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is on the 2025 hats calendar. Is that right? I don't have that calendar, but I think it is, which means it should be released to the general public later this year. Because when I was at Hobby House, they told us it's exclusive to that weekend, but I thought surely they're not going to print all these booklets and just destroy whatever's not sold. It's got to be an end game here. Okay, let me show you what I have. Okay, I love this one. I think I'm now at the halfway point. And sorry, last time I showed this, I had a hanging thread over here, and now I have a hanging thread over here. Whoopsie. When I showed this to you on my last video, I had this and above done, and now I've finished that row of eyelet stitches. I finished this row of initials, and I've started on the motifs. This is on a Mason linen. Forgive me, I don't remember info on my last video, but I really like this one. When I saw the antique at Hobby House and I saw that bright green, I was kind of like, oh, it's kind of scary. But I bought it, and I'm glad I did, because I really like how all the colors work together. And I like the composition. Yeah. And I like, you know, it's just a one simple border on top and then just a straight line all around. I was so excited though. This has 222 in it, which is I don't have it here, but a really great magenta color. But then when I got into the chart, I realized it's used in like 3 places. And like it's used there for those initials, and then a tiny little bit in here. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not gonna use 222 very much. I like 222. Became good friends with 222 when I was stitching Hannah Campbell. There was a lot of that in there. Okay, and then I have one finish and a new start, and then we'll go into like market things and haul and stitch kindness. Okay, do you guys remember back in October I started Nettle? And I had previously finished bobbin from the Animal Cracker series and Henrietta. And I finished, I think I finished Bobbin, I don't know, but it seemed like I was doing one a month. And so when I started Nettle in October, I thought, oh, I can finish Nettle in October, and then I can start Reynard or Clovis, who really should be called Chloris, in November, and then do another one in December, and then I'll have 5, and I can send those all off to Faye. Yeah, that didn't happen. This one just hung around for a while, which was stupid because I had half of it done. So finally I pulled it out and I finished it. Now I am stitching, or I stitched this mostly with the called for colors. Her fur I stitched in parchment instead of light khaki, because to me the light khaki is kind of yellow and I didn't like that. So I stitched her fur in parchment, and then I didn't read the chart carefully, so I stitched her dress in mascara, even though it was supposed to be in charcoal, but I actually really like the mascara. It's not a black anyway. And then with her stockings, I went rogue. I just picked different colors. In fact, I think I have it here. I made this ring of, oh, here actually are her colors. So sweet potato and marmalade. And I had considered adding Williamsburg for her stockings, but I didn't bother using it. But a while ago, I had created this big ring of Halloween colors. Oh, so I just picked from this. I used this pepperoncini, and I used ultraviolet. And then I also used one of these other purples. What did I use? Maybe mulberry? I think that's what I'm seeing. And then the other thing I did, oh, and I used brick. I did put a reddish color in there. But then the other thing I did was I stitched a little patch that is like her blouse. And so I was texting Laura and Barry saying, it's finally done. Like, I pulled it out for the IndyCar race, and I thought I'm gonna work on this through the IndyCar race and see how much I can get done, because a lot of this, I had like all of this to do, everything here. So fill in, easy peasy. So then I texted them the next day, I think it was the next day, and I said, she's done. And I made believe that she got a hole in her stocking. So she cut a bit of her blouse out and very haphazardly sewed it there. Yeah. I liked, I like seeing all the changes that people have made to Maggie May, the little bunny animal cracker. And I thought, well, I really like the design of Nettle's dress and her blouse, and I didn't really want to mess with that, but I figured the stockings were a good opportunity to make some changes. And then I put long stitches here to make it look like she's got little laces on her ballet slippers. Yeah, but she's done. She's done. And she and my other 2 animal crackers are stitched on 40 count Little Bunny by XJU Design. I have a little bit left of that fabric, enough to do 2, maybe 3 more animal crackers. So I'm considering choosing another color to sort of mix in. So, because I was thinking, oh, I can stitch all my crackers on the same fabric, but I thought, what if at some point, I run out of this? Do I really want to buy another piece of it just to do one little animal cracker? What if XJU stops dyeing this color? Also, her dye lots are, Okay, so that is a finish, and then I have a new start. Let me hang this back up though. I spent like 10 minutes the other day when I wanted to finish her freaking stockings, and I was like, I know I bought pepperoncini and ultraviolet. I know I bought these. Where are they? And I'm digging through it. I don't really have, I have a lot, enough to keep me busy as a stitcher, but I don't have like rooms and rooms and boxes of stuff. So I'm going through all of my floss. I'm like, where is this? And then it's right here. It's on the lamp. That big ring full of Halloween stuff. Oh my gosh. I was like, really? Yeah, I put it right there out in the open for me. Okay, and my only new start, which Took some willpower, I will let you know, because I've wanted to start everything. This was gifted to me by a friend who attended Sampler Symposium back in January. This is Susanna de Carle. The attendees of Sampler Symposium got a bunch of charts, and they got 2 from Hands Across the Sea, and 1 was Barbary Butcher. That is such a gorgeous chart. I love it. And in a year when it's available, I'm gonna buy it. I think one of the best things about it is that it only takes 7 colors. It's gorgeous, it's huge, it's packed full of motifs, and it only takes 7 colors. It's great. But this was the other hats that attendees received, and my friend was like, I'm not gonna stitch this one. Do you want it? Yes, please. So I went ahead and started her. Now you guys see, look, I got my bigger hoop. See? This is the Hardwick Manor oval hoop that I have been I use this hoop every day, but I wanted one that was a little bit bigger, and I finally managed to get my hands on this bigger size. I think this is the 9.5 inch, whatever it is. And thank you to those who reached out and said this place had it, or this place had it, or whatever. I did manage to find one in stock, and I ordered it, and it has been very helpful on the long border on Eliza Townsen, because you know, you don't want to stitch, she's got a really long border, right? And it's three colors in that winding, you know, foundation of the border. And so when I pull one of the colors, I don't want to have to stop after, you know, because one length of thread, I cut my thread really long. So one length of thread will get me quite a ways down. So using this longer hoop for the border was really helpful. But I am using, got it here, 56 count Spindrift from Cedar River Linen. This was my remnant from stitching Fannie Wilson. So I'm gonna throw this away now. Actually, I wanna keep that safety pin. But this is the remnant from Fannie Wilson, who is now with my framer. So I'll see her in a couple months or so. I am using 664, which is the called for floss, the called for 103. And this is not the color, but this is Overa Soie 100.3 silk. It is just very easy to use off the spool. And I know a lot of you know that, but I recently got a message from Blanquita. Hi. And she is a newish stitcher, and she had a lot of questions, some very basic things. But she did, I mean, she had a like foundation of knowledge here, but she wants to get more into stitching. And so I actually recommended a video from Cross Stitch the Globe, Stephanie and Allison. I recommended, because she was asking about differences between linen and Ada, and so I recommended one of their Cross Stitch University videos, and she said it was very helpful. So thank you, Stephanie and Allison, for that. And then I also recommended, just to absorb information and also be entertained, you know, I said go watch Brenda and Laura, because they show great stuff. They talk about a lot of different products, and I think you'll absorb a lot of information. So she was very grateful, but it reminded me that I have experienced stitchers watching me, but also new stitchers. But this little thing was stitched on Dirty Teacup by Needle and Flax. I have 46 Dirty Teacup, but I didn't have 56. So I just pulled, and I wanted to stitch it on 56 because I want to have this finished into a tiny pillow. So I wanted it to be as small as possible. So I thought 664 looks great on Spindrift. Spindrift is a great base color. You look at it and you think it's white, but actually it's softer, and so it doesn't scream at you. So I would say if you don't have any Spindrift, it's a good sampler color. Okay. Well, let's, I'm gonna actually talk about my Stitchy Kindness, and then we'll get into market stuff. Yeah. Okay. I mentioned on my last video that I had watched Jules' darling, Julie, and had recommended her second Flosstube, in which she talks about a bunch of different Valentine's charts. And I said that I really loved the Valentine Wabbit chart and I wanted it. So she went ahead and ordered me one. And that was so kind, Julie. And Julie, since your mail system is what it is, I'm just gonna give you a thank you when I see you in October. So that's what I'm gonna do. But I love this chart. It's so silly. It's so silly. And it really doesn't call for very many colors. Looks like 6 colors, and then it says a gold metallic thread for his little swag thing here. But I'm actually going to, I gotta figure out what fabric I want to use for this, but I'm going to use Roxy Floss. I have been building up my Roxy Floss Co collection, and I'll show you guys that in a bit. But this is so cute, so thank you, Julie. Excuse me. Okay, another thing. I finished, hold on, I've got the chart here. I finished A Token of Love last month. It's March, Audrey. I finished this last month. I posted a photo of it, which went bananas. I got like 800 and some likes, which is a lot for me. So you guys really liked what I did with this. I stitched it on 40 count Ice Rose from number 12 Stitch Co. And I used Gloriana Valentines, and I posted it on my Instagram saying that how cute would this be in a little Valentine's Day display with the candy hearts from Mary Jo Heine. And then Mary Jo reached out and said, Audrey, can I please send you a kit? And I said, well, yeah. So Mary Jo sent me her Bright Candies Velvet Hearts kit, and it came with all 3 supplies to do all 3. And I did go ahead and make one of those. And so Mary Jo just wanted me to give her some feedback and let her know what I thought of the materials and the instructions and everything. And what I told her, I will tell you, I pulled out everything and looked at all the beautiful materials. Velvet, silk velvet. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. So these are for the other 2 that I have yet to do. And silk ribbon and sequins and beads, and everything is nicely labeled and separated. And look, I even have some leftovers from the first heart that I made. And actually, look how much sequins and beads I have left over from my first one. And these are the templates. I just cut out all the templates. But what I told her was that all the materials were very nice, easy to use. Her instructions looked a little overwhelming. But what I did before I even went through and started playing with any of the materials was I read the instructions. And actually it was very clear, and it was nice that everything was so comprehensive. So I think if you have a lot of patience, or at least a little bit of skill in embroidery and hand sewing, you can do these. So let me show you the one that I made. I did the back first, which is so cute. Oh my, and look at this pink velvet. Oh my gosh. So this is just a bunch of sequins anchored with beads. Oh, look at that, my camera is focusing. Wow. You guys, this is really exciting. Like, is this what a camera can do? And then, I mean, this is my attempt at stitching with ribbon. But then the front, oh, look at that. Okay, I want to show you. Now, I was reading the instructions for this ribbon embroidery and how to make ribbon roses. And I'm looking at this going, how? But I did it. And this one was my first one. And you know what? I think it's spectacular. If I do say so myself. I think I did a darn good job. And then I did another one that wasn't as spectacular. But I just kept going. And it was so fun. And I think overall, the look is fantastic. So just follow Mary Jo's instructions. I made the hanger as directed, And the only thing that I changed from her directions was that I took some of the red ribbon and made a big red bow to put on the top here because that's what I wanted. And then after I had sewn along the edges here, I thought my stitches, and I'm putting this in front of my face so it actually focuses, but I thought my edge looked a little lumpy, and it still kind of does, but I don't have a ton of experience in hand sewing, and this is a rounded object. So what I did was I took some of the very thin ribbon. There we go. Took some of the very thin ribbon, which I don't seem to have any extra of, but it's 2mm ribbon. I took what I had in that size. Oh yeah, it's this same ribbon. I took what I had left over, and I just kind of did little loops all the way around. I filled this with polyfill. If I had had something heavier, like walnut shells, I would have used that. I do have some sand from another kit from Mary Jo's, the strawberries, but I didn't want to use that because I thought for sure it would come out the sides. So I just used polyfill, which isn't, you know, the greatest thing in the world, but boy, is this thing cute. Now, if you are very excited by all of this and you're on MaryJoHeiney.com, I want to let you know that you can use a special coupon code StitchStitchBead for 15% off your purchase. Now the 15% off does not apply to Mary Jo's handmade originals, but it does apply to kits and materials. So if you have been looking at getting a strawberry kit or the kit for these candy hearts, and there are two different colorways for the candy hearts. There's the brights, which is what Mary Jo sent to me, and then there are the pastels. And the pastels, there is a baby pink, a butter yellow, and a lilac, which I think would be great for an Easter display. So if you're kind of ready for Easter, I would check that out. Another thing that Mary Jo sells is ribbon embroidery kits. I purchased this quite a while ago, sometime last year, I don't remember. And it comes with, this one actually looks like it came with the needles and the beads and the ribbon and all the jazz. It came with the silk noir on which to stitch everything. What I did was I purchased the kit and then I purchased additional silk noir so that I could use Katie Strachan's tutorial to make myself a little needle book. But I stitched this using Mary Jo's kit. And then additionally, I cross-stitched an A and an M because the noir is actually an even weave. It's like cross-stitch fabric, except really slubby, which I love actually. So I very easily stitched my initials there. And then there's this little antique button that I got from Barry at Stitch Folk. Used some ribbon. And then this cord I made from Water Lily silk and painstakingly stitched around the edge here, but it is a beautiful little finish. And I use this all the time. Yeah. So please check out Mary Jo's site. Just a disclosure, she sent me the bright candy hearts kit for no charge, but I don't get anything else. So you are under no obligation. You should feel no pressure to make a purchase, but if you have been considering buying or trying some of Mary Jo's products, you know, it's a two-woman show. She runs it all with her daughter Claire, and they've been just so kind, and I have loved her products and her kits, and I've really enjoyed. There's been a little bit of swearing, right, as you're putting these things together, but as I say, I am pretty new to hand stitching, but there is Mary Jo's information. Use code StitchStitchBead when you check out and you'll get 15% off. The code is good through April 8th. There is a $25 minimum. And as I say, it does not apply to the originals, but oh, look at it. Look at it. This is strawberry I made. I know I showed you guys this last time, but it's like, I made this and it's so cool. Yeah. Okay, I drove to Cincinnati on Tuesday to meet with Lisa, my framer. You can contact her through her website. I think it's LM Framing. I will link it below. And I just went to go pick, she had 6 finished things for me, and I thought, well, she's only 2 hours away. Let me just go pick these up so she doesn't have to ship them, go pick them up, and then I can go to Keepsakes while I'm out there. So I did that, and when I stopped into Keepsakes, I was able to see Stephanie of Just Keep Stitching, and I was able to thank her for mentioning me. She and her mom, Pam, mentioned me on their Flosstube back in December, and I saw a huge run, you know, a huge bump in numbers. Lots of people heading to my channel to check me out, thanks to them, so I wanted to thank her. But I also picked up just 3 things at Keepsakes. I got this Brenda Gervais, this is Grandma's Candy Dish. I really like the Rabbit in the Rose, I believe is what it's called, the one that looks like a chocolate bunny in a basket. But that one looks like it's got a lot of stitching in it, and I just think it would take me quite a while, whereas this one I could probably do in just a few days. I picked up that one. These little chicks are so cute. There's a little diagram on the back, you can see there's the chick, and their little wings are done in satin stitch to give it a little bit of texture. And the basket, actually, there's some satin stitching in there, which I think is cool. But I just like the eggs hanging in different colors. It's a cute little bunny. I like that. And then I got this one. This I think only takes, is it 3 colors or 2? It's 3 colors. But I am going to use Roxy Floss Co for this because I've got some really great blues and reds from them. And I figure just pick any base fabric, it'll look great. And I think this one and this one will stitch up in no time at all. And this one you could probably do in a day if you had a lot of hours in that day, but yeah, I like those. And then the last thing I got was a bunka brush. So this is for bunka shishu embroidery, which I don't really understand what that is. But I saw this and I knew what it was because Erica Fibers and Floss Canada had shown this on some video, I don't remember when, but you can use it to fluff up your whisper stitches. So I thought it's $4, I'll just grab it. Yeah, how about that? And I actually had the forethought to bring a couple small finishes with me when I went to Keepsakes. So I dropped off 2 tiny shepherd's bush finishes there. And I was talking with Stephanie and another lady who works there, and we were talking about how cute they are on 40 count. That's what I stitched them on, so they're tiny. One of them is like a large postage stamp size. So I'm curious to see, you know, what they do with it. I just requested soft pillow finishes with maybe some chenille around the outside. We'll see what they do. But, you know, shepherd's bush, I think always the called for is 28 or 32. But when you put it on 40, it really shrinks it down and you get these cute petite finishes. So I'm excited to get those back. I don't know when. I don't know how long their process is for finishing, but I'm sure I'll get a phone call soon enough. Okay. Since I've been talking about Roxy Floss Co, I'll go ahead and show you what I've gotten from them. Roxy Floss Co is available, Roxy Floss Co floss and linen is available exclusively from Evertote.ca. They are in Canada. They're in London, Ontario, which I think is near Toronto. It's in that area. I joined the one-of-a-kind floss club, and I signed up for this back in, I think it was January, early January. You were able to sign up for it, and I was kind of hemming and hawing, but then they showed what the first one-of-a-kind floss club set would be, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm signing up for that, and I'm so glad I did. So you get 7 colors per month, and I will show you, because I have things organized a certain way here. Okay, this is month 1. This is month 1. So each month, Carrie does a set of gradients that are all kind of in the same color family. And then she'll do a highly variegated, what she says is a pop of color, and then yeah, you want to escape, don't you? And then a speckle. This is what sold it. I was like, oh my God, it looks like Pop-Tart frosting. And I've got this whole thing about Pop-Tart frosting from my youth. So this was month 1. And then this is only part of month 2 because oh my gosh, I'll show you what I did with the rest of it. This is only 5 of the 7 colors. I pulled 2 of them for something else. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Carrie, these are fantastic. But I've got dragon fruit, raspberry sorbet, peaches and cream, fairy floss, and snow cone. Oh my gosh, okay. So what I've been doing is I decided to put all of my one-of-a-kind club colors on a ring together, but then I pulled what I needed off of that for a conversion that I did for a chart out of the All Things Bright and Beautiful box from Hands Across the Sea Samplers. Speaking again of Erica, Fibers and Floss Canada, she did not buy the box, but she is lamenting that decision because she really wants Henriette de Soldat, which is the last one in the box, the giant one with all the Assisi stitching. So I told her that she should use her platform to, you know, beg, borrow, and steal a copy of it. If you have that chart and you hate it, maybe think of Erica. I don't know how desperate she is. I just know that she really liked it, and so she was kind of thinking, oh, I should have bought that box. This is Jessie Ormiston. Nicholas showed a progress photo of this on her Instagram months ago. And when Brenda and Laura were talking about having opened their All Things Bright and Beautiful box back in January when they were with Nicola at Sampler Symposium, Brenda said, I went back to the attic and I bought a special fabric that is for one of the charts in the box. And Laura said, well, what is it? Can you show it? And Brenda said, no, I can't show it because it'll give it away. And I thought, okay, it's black. It's Black Swan from Fox and Rabbit, which means it's Jessie Ormiston. And so I talked to Laura on the phone just a few days after they had put out that video. And I said, just give me a yes or no. I said, is the fabric that Brenda bought for whatever chart it was Black Swan? And she said, yep. And I said, okay, I know what it is. So what I did very impatiently, instead of waiting for the box to come and waiting to get the DMC list and send that DMC list to Floss Boss Hannah at Evertote, what I did was I looked at Nicola's photo on Instagram where she shows the progress that she had made on Jessie Ormiston and all of the spooled silk. So you had like a big swath of color, and I was able to use that to look on Evertote.ca and pick my own colors. So this is the conversion. This is my tentative conversion. Oh, and look, I got Floss Bling. This is also from the box. So I thought, how perfect is it? We've got Roxy Floss. We've got a bird. We've got Roxy Floss. Yeah. Okay. Now I will tell you the colors I have picked, but the caveat is some of these will not be available for purchase. And there are, I think, 2 that I will be changing. I just placed another order with Evertote. Sorry, I wiggled you guys. Placed an order with Evertote for just a couple pieces of fabric and maybe half a dozen other flosses, because I want to get this conversion right for me. And then there's another chart in the All Things Bright and Beautiful box that I plan to convert. So let me just real quick, what I have selected as of this moment, but I will let you know when I have my updated, finalized conversion if you should like to stitch it as I am. This is Violetta. This is sold out on their website and it was a one of a kind. I got it on sale but it's a beautiful, beautiful color. And I think Violetta is Nicola Parkman's middle name, which I thought was like, oh. Okay, Persimmon. This is part of the One of a Kind Floss Club. So this is one of the ones that I pulled from this grouping. This is Nectar. This is another one of a kind. Look at these. These were almost perfect matches to the 103s. So what I did was I pulled the 103s, laid them all out, and then pulled from the Roxy Floss Co. floss. Okay, this is Yearly Bonus. This is Chick. This was another almost perfect match. This is Lime Juice. God, look at that. Beachy Keen. This was a pretty perfect match to what I was trying to get it to. Now, Be Limey. This was pretty close, and considering I was doing all of this off of 2 online photos, you know, the online photo of Nicola's silks for this and the online photos on Evertote's website. This is pretty close, but I've ordered something else that I think might work better. This is Sunny D. I think that one works. This is Cyan Aura. This is very close. This is Maraschino. I remember this being just about a perfect match. Fuzzy Peach. Inappropriate. It's so funny. This is showing on the screen like a really bright, perfect red, but in person it looks darker. But I have stitched with this before, and it is a beautiful red, and I love it. It's one of my favorite reds. This is Marigold. This is Objective. And then this is Marina. This is another one. This is from the first month of the One of a Kind Club. I do think this one is going to get switched out for probably Duo Tang, or I think the other option that I purchased just yesterday was, I think it's called Lake Huron. I think because this is a little bit darker, I need something that is just as saturated, but just a little bit brighter. But you know, there are so many colors and not, you know, except for maybe this aqua blue, nothing actually appears too often. So if something is close but not perfect, it really doesn't matter. Also, it really doesn't matter. But let me show you, I'm using 40 Count Night Owl, also from Roxy Floss. This is a piece of linen I bought, I don't know, a year ago, and was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I want it, and I'm so glad I bought it. This is Carrie's basically black fabric, but it is just on the blue side, just a little bit. But look at what we got going on here. I think that will be spectacular. Yeah, because you can see next to my sweater is black, and this is just a tiny bit blue. Yep. Oh, look at it. Okay, I love my fun bling. I love this color, and I'm not really a purple person, so I'm sorry you can't get Violetta. Somebody actually messaged me, because I'll put a photo in here. I took a photo of what I had come up with for my conversion at the time, which is this basically. I put a photo on Instagram of the 103 to Roxy Floss Co conversion. I didn't label anything, and I didn't say what it was for, but somebody messaged me and said, ooh, what is this for? And I said, well, it's something out of the Bright and Beautiful box. And she said, yep, what is it? And I told her it was for Jessie Ormiston. She's like, okay, well, what is that purple? And I said, it's Violetta. So I hope she went and ordered it, because now it's sold out. So yeah, just gorgeous colors. Okay, we've spent enough time talking about that. I was watching a Flosstube earlier this week. It was like going on and on about the same project for like 20 sub minutes. I'm like, okay, we can be done with this. And here I am doing the same thing, but it's exciting. Okay, the other, I'm not going to go through everything that was in the All Things Bright and Beautiful box. You can go and watch Nicola's, one of her latest Flosstubes. It's episode 405, I believe, where she does her unboxing. It's a spoiler in the thumbnail, and you can see everything that was included in the box. You can also go watch Stitch and Gem, and watch, I think it is her latest one, where she goes through the contents of the, or at least she goes through the charts that were included in the box. And this is Jem's favorite, got a lot of yellow, and she's going to start this, I think, later this month. So I think this would also very easily convert to Roxy Floss, so that's my plan. In the order that I placed with Evertote yesterday, I ordered what I think I need to make this conversion perfect, and then I ordered just a couple other things to make this complete. I ordered Verd's the Word for that weird green. You know, all this time I thought they had been saying Bird's the Word, like the song. And then I went on there and I'm like, I cannot find this color. And then I saw that it was Verd's the Word, like verdigris. I was like, oh, that's very clever. That Floss Boss Hannah, she's funny. Now, Jem, I will tell you, this looks yellow. This looks yellow. But if you pull the color, because Jem loves yellow and that's why she loves this one. If you pull the color for that symbol, it's 241 in 100.3, which is kind of like an orangey yellow. So I think you need to make it yellow, yellow. I think I'm gonna make it yellow, yellow. Huh. Okay. Oh, and the couple pieces of fabric that I ordered from Roxy Floss Co. I ordered Speculoos because I think it'll be a good sampler color, and I've never seen it in person, but I think it'll be just a good basic one. I ordered Arrowroot, which I think is some kind of off-white. One of the market releases is stitched on Arrowroot. It's the, I don't remember what it's called. And then I ordered, I think, Buttercup, which is what it sounds like. And I'm hoping Buttercup will work for this because I do kind of want it to look yellowy like this. This is stitched on Baked Clay by Fox and Rabbit. Okay, fun with floss. Oh my gosh. Okay, one thing I showed you guys, I think it was on my last one where I showed all the goodies that my friend Vashti sent me. Hi Vashti. She sent me a piece of vintage sand dune, 56 count vintage sand dune from Lakeside Linens, and look at her, it's so gorgeous. I was perfectly happy in my oblivion, not knowing what any Lakeside looked like in person, and then she sent me this and I just love it. But I realized I had the perfect chart for it. I'm gonna stitch Sarah Butler on the vintage sand dune. The bummer is that even though this is a really small chart, there's no way I can get this and anything else on this piece of vintage sand dune. So I'll just have to look out for it in the future. This was from the Words of Wisdom box. This is one of the few that I haven't completed, and I realized when I was telling you guys I hadn't completed, there were a few more from that box that I wanted to stitch. I totally forgot about Sarah Bird. I put her out of my mind because she's huge. It's do you guys remember the apron that Nicola was selling on the Hands Across the Sea Samplers website? The pattern that is on the apron, that is Sarah Burt. I don't know if I'm gonna stitch Sarah Burt. It's really pretty and it would be impressive on your wall, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's just two colors and I think you'd get really bored with it. So maybe if you just decided to make it a 4-year project or something and stitch a little bit every month, then you wouldn't get bored with it. But I like this silly peacock down at the bottom. Look at him. Look at him. There's a squirrel and a deer. Yeah, so I think that'll look great on this fabric. So thank you, Vashti. Perfect. Okay. Oh, my face is getting pink. Let me look real quick. I want to make sure that I didn't skip over anything because last time I made notes and I still forgot stuff. Okay, so showing you all the Roxy Floss Co. and then Sarah Butler, that's kind of leading into plans. So I'll say that yes, pretty soon-ish, maybe within the next month or so, I would like to start at least one new sampler. But also coming up in October, I am going to Swindon for the Great British Sampler Weekend, and I'm very excited. It's gonna be my birthday weekend, and I'm gonna be there by myself. Ryan has to work that weekend, so I'm gonna go ahead and spend a couple days in London by myself, which is not a bad thing. I've done that once before. Ryan and I were supposed to go together, but he got this sinus infection and went to the doctors, and they were like, you'll probably be okay, or you might rupture an eardrum on the plane. He was like, okay, I'm not gonna go, because he works in radio and TV. He needs his hearing. So I ended up going by myself and actually had a pretty good time. So I'm gonna do that again, this time on purpose, and spend a couple days in London by myself. I'm gonna go to my favorite Korean restaurant and to a couple museums, and then head out to Swindon and do all the Swindon things. But all this to say that we got our, not assignments, but our class projects. We got the charts so that we can do all the pre-stitching, should we choose to do it. And I am in Jane Greenhoff's class, I don't remember which day, and then I'm in Sissy Bailey Smith's class, I don't remember which day. One is on Thursday, one is on Friday. I think they're both in the morning. But this is the project we got for Sissy Bailey Smith. This is going to be a Scottish castle etui. So you stitch this, which will be the outside, and then you stitch this will be the inside, and then this will be the inside of the bottom, this will be the outside of the bottom. And to make all of this work, you have to stitch outside all of this, the nun stitch. And before I got all excited and did the inside stuff, I decided, well, I need to know how to do the nun stitch. So I pulled out a scrap of fabric, and this is 40 count X-Jew. When you order from X-Jew, oh my God, her linens are so nice and they smell so good. When you order from her, she sends a little scrap in a color that you didn't order. And so I think this is Dewberry. So if you guys like this color, this is Dewberry from X-Jew. Oh, and this is 222. I love that color. See, I was like, I just want to use it for something. So what I did was I pulled a length of thread, and I used Sissy's instructions for the nun stitch. It looks like this. And I read and I read and I read and I looked and I looked and I looked, and I just took it slowly, and I still managed to do it in, I think, pretty good time. And the reason why I did this is because between the sides of your castle right here, there are going to be little tiny, what do you want to even call them? Yeah, just, you're gonna have to cut in between those portions. So let me see, what's the front and what's the back? Okay, this is the front. And this is the back. And I wasn't sure if my back, if the design on the back was as it should be, but then I looked up another diagram online for the nun stitch, and I looked at it and kind of thought about her movement, because she, you know, has the arrows 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I thought, okay, that would create this pattern on the back. And then I looked at mine and I said, okay, yeah, it's the same pattern on the back. That is the back, that is the front. So the scrap of fabric was about this big. I did the stitching. There's this weird bit over here just because I ran out of the thread and it didn't matter, so I just went ahead and cut it. But this doesn't fray. So, I mean, you don't want to be too rough with it, but it doesn't fray for the nun stitch. And it was easy to do. Sorry, the cat's wandering around. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So I feel like I can go ahead and start on this. I was reading the instructions though, and you need like just a little bit more than 1/4 of a yard. So basically you need a 1/2 yard. I'm thinking, I don't even have a 1/2 yard of fabric, so I have to order a 1/2 yard of fabric. But then I remembered that one of the pieces of Mason linen that I got from Vashti was a 1/2 yard. And it's this weird, it's a haberdashery, and it's kind of a weird greenish gray color, which I think will be perfect for my castle here. And Sissy, I watched her video that she provided, and actually anybody can watch the video. It's on her Flosstube channel, Sissy Bailey Smith, Gentle Pursuit Designs, excuse me. And so if you're interested in seeing this, you can't get this chart right now. I don't know if she will release it at a future date, but she does a lot of small little fiddly things like this. And if you're just interested in learning about what this particular project is, her video was very helpful. It made me feel like the whole thing was very doable. So that was great. But she encouraged us to choose our own stitches, our own colors, make it our own. So since it's a Scottish castle, and I have subsequently learned, you know, I thought I was Scottish. I'm not Scottish. But my sons are named Rupert and Morris. And Morris is spelled M-A-U-R-I-C-E. He's named after Morris Gibb. But I learned a while ago about Prince Rupert of the Rhine, who actually had a brother named Maurice, spelled the same way, but I'm sure back then they said Maurice. And boy, they got into loads of trouble. And poor Prince Maurice died young, but that was neither here nor there. Anyway, and their uncle actually was King James VI of Scotland. And so I thought it would be really fun in a weird way, to take Sissy's chart. I'm gonna stitch the outline as it is. I'll stitch the windows and stuff, but I'm going to incorporate eyelets, and she suggests queen stitches. I'll try all that. I think I'd like to also incorporate the road stitch and the rice stitch and satin stitch, and I don't even know what else. But I think within the castle, there's like this little tapestry that has a unicorn on it, and I might put a little ship in there because Prince Maurice, he died at sea. And then I think I also want to, or I might just change the unicorn to a horse, because if I remember correctly, Prince Rupert was a cavalry officer. I might do that. And then maybe over here on one of these, put the ship. I don't know. And then I think I might, in tiny, tiny letters, stitch Prince Rupert and Prince Morris. So anyway, I'm very excited about this. And Sissy sent a gift in the Facebook group of a coordinating drum. So I've chosen, I think these will be my colors. I chose a group of 3 pinks, like mauve colors. And then I chose a group of browns. And this is just so I have options for different brightnesses, but everything harmonizes together. And then I chose 3 greens. 3 greens. This one is $1.99, and I think Sissy actually calls for that one, and I like that one, so I just kind of worked off of that. And then I liked these 2 blues. It's like a French blue and then a lighter version, like a steel blue. The darker one I'm not happy with, but I think I'm gonna pull the blue that is used in Eliza Kirton. Wow, this camera is so good. You guys, I'm excited. Okay, so I don't think I'm gonna stick with this one, but it is an option. Okay, I realized that I didn't talk about Market. So I'm gonna talk about Market, and then I'm gonna show you my frame pieces, and then we'll call it a day. And this will take me for, I don't know how long to edit and upload, we'll see. Okay, when I was looking at things that were coming out of Market this year, I thought, you know what? I have enough to keep me busy. I really don't need to buy anything. But I kept looking. I was like, I want to see what's coming out, what might catch my eye. And for quite a while, nothing caught my eye. Nothing was jumping out at me and saying, you're really gonna buy this. So I was perfectly happy to not buy anything until just, I don't know, those last few designers put their stuff out. One of them was Stacy Nash, and one of them was Shakespeare's Peddler. And I absolutely love Shakespeare's Peddler, and I love Stacy Nash's Animal Crackers. So I thought I needed to know for my own purposes what I bought at Market last year, what I actually stitched, what is kind of lingering or will not be stitched before I went ahead and bought more stuff this season. So I thought maybe you guys would be interested in this as well. So the things that I bought from Market last year, I bought 12 charts from Market last year, and 5 I have not started. One of them is Voice So Sweet by Teresa Kogut. One of them is Home Sweet Home by Shakespeare's Peddler. Now you guys are thinking, wait, you did start that. I did, and I decided probably a month or so ago that I had made it almost too cutesy, and I didn't like what I was doing with it. It was so bright, and it was on that very, very white linen. So I'm going to restart this, and I'm likely going to do it on a 46 or even a 56, and I'm going to use 103s in more subdued tones. Are any of us surprised that I didn't start this? No. This is Anne Newton, 1838, from Kirton Antiques and Needlework. I bought this because I love the house. It's really cool. And Marlowe's right there. And I like the chicken and the ladies down there with their dogs. I really do like this. It just hasn't made it to the top of the list. This is Sarah Welch, 1764. I still really like this. I want to get to it someday. That's by Cross Stitch Antiques. Another one by Cross Stitch Antiques is Anne Hunt Nailsea, 1805. This is a Quaker. And it's just done in the one color. And I have 2 spools of this color all ready to go for it. So those are the ones I haven't started. But there are several that I finished, and a couple of them are doubles, so I feel good about that. And what I mean by doubles is 2 charts in 1 pattern. This is another one I bought at market. I finished both of these and actually have already had them finished by Faye Rigsby, and they're gorgeous. If you want to see these and the other Christmas finishes I have, go back and watch my December video, because I have, I think, a very nice Christmas display. And these are 2 pieces included in that. Another piece included in that Christmas display was this Merry Little Christmas. This is from Shakespeare's Peddler. I love her stuff. I love it. So I finished that. Very recently, I finished A Token of Love. I talked to you guys a little bit about this earlier in this video. And again, bobbin. I didn't stitch this. I don't have a sewing machine. I have no desire to use a sewing machine, so it's either I finish it by hand or I have it sent off. And so I have to kind of prioritize smalls and things, like what do I actually want to pay to have finished. This is not one of those things, but I do have bobbin stitched. I just need to have her finished. And then Catherine Reese, 2 charts in 1. These were stitched by the same girl. Is there a year on it? No, I don't think so. Anyway, Laura, I know I was supposed to send this to you, and it just hasn't happened. Also, I was hoping to see you sometime this spring. Maybe in May. That'd be nice. Maybe we'll see Barry in May too. And but I finished both of these, and these are now with the framers. And I requested that they be, even though they're slightly different dimensions, that they be framed in the same style of frame. Now, those are finished. I showed you the ones that I didn't even start. There are 2 others that I have started. One is Emmeline Hotchkiss. This is a Canadian sampler from 1846. This is the antique. I did start this. I started this last April, and I got about a quarter of the way through and just stalled. Somebody a few episodes back either left a comment or sent me a message saying that she wanted to see this. She was like, I want to see your progress. And I was like, I don't have any progress. This is what it looks like. I didn't say that, but you should see what Marlowe's doing right now. I made a couple color changes in this. I still hate this orange that's actually called for. I don't know. I need to, well, I'm not going to say what my grandma used to say, but I need to make a decision here on this one. The friend that I had started this with, she abandoned it. She was like, yeah, I was all excited, and now she sent her unfinished whip to a friend, which is great because then it will eventually get finished. And the last one that I bought from market is this Needlework press. This is the Lone Eagle sampler. It's just a beautiful red sampler. And I am delighted to share with you guys that since I last showed this, I do have some progress. I picked it up and I put a couple days into it, and so now I'm over the 50% mark, I think. I finished, last time I showed this to you, I had not finished this motif here, but since then I added the stuff at the bottom, I finished this, I did these little motifs here, and I started this souvenir. And yeah, so I put some work into this. This is on 56 count latte by XG Design with 664, which is my favorite, Overa Soie Red. So since I bought 12 charts and I finished 5, 2 of which are doubles, and I started 2, at least one of those 2 will be finished, I feel okay. I feel okay about my market purchases from last year. I didn't go bananas. And this year I ordered 3 things, and I'll insert pictures here. I ordered Lily the Frog, the animal cracker, from Stacy Nash. And I ordered Flowers That Bloom from Shakespeare's Peddler. I really, really love that one. And I plan on stitching it in 103s on a 46 count probably, and having it finished into a tiny little pillow like I did with my Merry Little Christmas from Shakespeare's Peddler. Lily, I'll probably just stitch in the called for because I think I have all of that. Except I'll stitch her on a 40 count like I did with my other animal crackers. And then the last one that I ordered from Market was a chart that I actually wasn't overly excited about, but I knew that I would be able to finish it myself because it is the Hop Into Spring by Brenda Gervais. I thought it was cute. You know, it wasn't the most exciting thing I've seen, but I thought it was cute. I thought I could easily use some of my new fun Roxy Floss Co colors to stitch it. And the Frill-tastic board from Chantel 141, it's 20 bucks. I ordered it, and I figured that's one I can finish myself because I had previously stitched Pumpkins That Glow by Brenda Gervais and finished it on the Panorama board also by Chantel. That was a time-consuming process, and it was the first time I had really done any kind of lacing and dealt with rickrack and all this stuff, but I knew I could do it. I'm getting a little bit better with these fiddly little things. So that's what I ordered from Market. Okay, now I will pull my frame pieces. I will share those with you, and then I will send you off to another floss tuber. Okay, ready for some frame finishes? I will show you the information on the back here first. L&M Framing. They're in Batavia, Ohio. You can reach out to them through their website. Yes, it is lmframing.com. Okay, this is Sarah J. Jones. Look at that frame. Sarah J. Jones. This was a gift to attendees at the Great British Sampler Weekend Comes to America at Hobby House back in October. I got home, I stitched this up in just a few days. I was so excited. I stitched this on 56 count, if I didn't already say that. I don't remember the fabric, but there is my little signature there. There was already that gap, so I thought it worked well to put my signature there. I did choose to do it in the bright red because it was such a colorful sampler. I didn't think it would be super noticeable or obvious. I really like this one. One thing I need to do is now I have several frame pieces now, over a dozen at this point, and I do need to take the time to write on a label, and I've purchased labels. I purchased like Avery labels, like big sticky sheets that I can just cut up. I do need to write when I started, when I finished, what I used, maybe why I stitched it or where I got the chart. I need to actually go through and do all that. But I absolutely love that finish, and I'm very happy to have Sarah home. Okay, this is Hilda Weiner. And I do get glass on all of my pieces, but I get museum glass. I'm sorry, there still is a glare on the video though. This one I was looking at this yesterday and just kind of, oh yeah, I remember Hilda. Hi Hilda, it's nice to see you again. And I'm looking and looking and looking and cannot find my signature. And so I'm in a panic because I'm thinking that I did not put a signature on this. And it's okay if I purposefully omit it, but I was sure that I put one on here. And so I can't find it, and I was very mad, and I said some words, and then I noticed it's right there. And so I guess I did a pretty good job of hiding it in plain sight, right? This is a chart that was included in the first red box from Hands Across the Sea samplers. I did not purchase that box when it was released. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't even know if I knew that Flosstube was a thing back then. But I was able to find that chart on D-Stash, and I got that and a couple others from that box. And Hilda now is living with, well, not this finished piece, but the chart I sent to a friend because she asked to borrow it, and I said, I'm never going to stitch it again, just have it. So she has it. I think she's going to stitch it in purple, which will be neat. I think it has something to do with her grandmother, is why she wanted to stitch it in purple. Okay, this is a Hocking. This is from the Words of Wisdom box. When Lisa sent me options for frames, she said, well, you could just like pick a few that you like and we'll just kind of mix and match for these small ones. I said, yeah, that's fine. And I picked this one. I just kind of wanted to see what it looked like. And then when she sent me a photo of the finish, I wasn't crazy about it, but it was actually because it looked lighter in her photo than it actually is. And so I'm actually okay with this finish. I think I would like it to be a little bit darker, but it doesn't really matter. It's neat. I really like this one. A Hocking. Yeah, so Words of Wisdom box, as I say, this was stitched on 56 count Regency by Seraphim. So it's got this tiny blue tinge to it, which I thought really emphasized the aqua. I think Sarah J. Jones is stitched on a Seraphim as well. You know, I do have notes on this, if I would just read my own notes. Yes, Winter White by Seraphim. And then Hilda is stitched on Sleeping Bear from Needle and Flax, but this is a 46. She would be really tiny if she were on a 56. And then this one, I love how it turned out, and I love this frame. So cool. This is Marta Kauser, and last time I was talking about her, I called her Maria, but Marta, she is one of two charts that is included in a Hands Across the Sea booklet, Needlework from Distant Shores. It's Marta Kauser and Maggie Burridge. And Maggie I stitched on 56 and was so tiny I had her finished into a pillow. And I show that on my previous video, so episode 26, I believe. This is stitched on 56 count cockle shell, as is Maggie, the little pillow. And I stitched this with 664, which is my favorite red. Look at that. But this frame, look at that. It's really cool. So actually I was thinking, where did it go? Well, I think Catherine Reese. Don't you think those two Catherine Reese, the sister samplers, would look good in this? Yeah, I like it. Okay. Okay. And then the last two that I have are big. They're big. Okay. Marie-Louise Piret. Yeah. This was a stitch along last year that I ended up doing by myself. Started in January of last year with the intention of finishing in December of last year. I actually finished it, I think, November 5th. So at the end there, I was just like, I want this done. Boy, this is getting heavy. Okay, this is Marie-Louise Piret from Hands Across the Sea Samplers, stitched on 46 count gold sand by XJU Design with the called for 100.3s from Aubert Soie Silk. If you want to make it easier on yourself, you can get the chart and silks from hoopandframe.com, or you can talk to your local needlework shop. Wow, this is getting heavy. Okay. Oh, but really cool frame, right? Let's see if it'll focus on this and not me. Yeah. I picked this up from Lisa though, and I think this was her favorite frame. She was talking about how much she liked it. I think it looks good. I was thinking, you know, she looks like a fancy girl. Maybe she needs to be in a fancy frame, but I don't mind that she's in kind of a weathered frame. It's like it's beaten down, but she's still here. Anyway, and then this one, my signature, I just put an A. Is that, can you see that? Because I can't see it. An A and a 24 right there around the key. Yeah. Sometimes okay, now I'm reminded of two things. Don't let me forget. Sometimes I include what I think of as my full signature, which is this lion and an A, and then the last 2 digits of the year in which it was stitched. Sometimes I do an abbreviated signature, like this A and the 24. But every once in a while I'll get a message from somebody saying that they like my signature and how I have created it, and can they appropriate it? Absolutely, I don't care. I don't think you're gonna be able to do this lion just as I have, and maybe your name doesn't start with A. Maybe you will configure things differently. I got a message from somebody who said that they maybe wanted to do a bear or something else. Anyway, just, you know, develop a signature for yourself, something that works for you, something that you're not gonna get tired of stitching, and run with it. I don't care if you do the same sort of thing as me. I don't think that this is an original design. Surely other people before I started stitching have made something similar to mark their work, right? Another thing I was reminded of that I meant to talk about the last few videos was that I am now getting more Facebook friend requests than I ever had before. And very respectfully, I decline them. I just want to let you guys know that you are welcome to follow either of my Instagram accounts. The one that is about my needlework is at StitchStitchBead, and I post a lot of photos of my needlework, and you know, whether it's in progress or finished or whatever it may be. And then my other Instagram account, which is I'm not super active with anymore, is at audrey.marine. That is M-Y-R-E-H-N, and yes, it is pronounced marine. You are welcome to follow either of those. They are public accounts. But I don't accept Facebook friend requests from people that I either have not met or do not have a personal relationship with, just because I get photos on my Facebook account of like friends and family and my kids. And so you'll see that you might have common Facebook friends with me, like Brenda or Laura or Barry, or I'm even Facebook friends with Nicola Parkman. I'm Facebook friends with Nicola Parkman because I have to be, so that she can allow me into the, you know, couple private groups that have had to do with needlework events, like the Great British Sampler Weekend and all that stuff. So please do not be offended that you have sent me a friend request on Facebook and have not received a notification that I've accepted. I will not accept Facebook friend requests from people that I don't know. And it's just basically to protect my children and the little bit of personal information I might have on there. But I will tell you, you're really not missing anything from me on Facebook, because every once in a while I go back and look at what I posted, and I post maybe once a month, and it usually has nothing to do with me. It's usually like a share of some embroidery video or some interesting art video or something that I came across and I wanted to share. So anything that I post on Facebook really nowadays is in needlework groups like Homespun or the Redbox Sampler fan group or whatever it may be. So if I post anything, it'll be in a group you're probably already in anyway. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I see your requests, but respectfully, I decline. Okay, so now that I've shown you all of my framed finishes, gone over market, whips, new start, I think I've covered everything. I think I have. I'm exhausted, I'm hungry, and I need a drink. So I will end it here, and I'll talk to you guys in another few weeks, maybe a month. But if you're interested in following along, please check me out on Instagram at StitchStitchBead, and I will link below the other floss tubers that I have mentioned. And again, please go check out maryjoheine.com if you are interested in any of her kits or supplies. You can buy just velvet, just ribbon, or you can buy kits, whatever it may be, and use StitchStitchBead for 15% off your purchase. That is good through April 8th. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you. I'll talk to you next time. Happy stitching. Hi friends. I got all worked up talking about signatures and whatnot that I showed you 5 of my frame pieces, but forgot to show you Carmelle. So here she is. Look at that frame. This is stitched on 56 count Old Mushroom by XJU Design. I stitched it with soie surfine, and I have museum glass over it, so she's nice and protected. I thought I'd just pop this video in here at the end because I'm already back in my jammies. There she is. Just love her. All right, well, thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.